Welcome to the deep dive. Ever feel like your cloud setup is, well, just a tangled mess? Or maybe you get nervous opening that monthly bill. If that sounds familiar, then today's deep dive should help bring some clarity. We're looking into Microsoft Azure's core management structure. It sounds a bit dry, maybe, but it's really important. Okay, let's unpack this. Our sources, they really lay out this foundational framework for getting things organized in the cloud. We're talking subscriptions, resource groups, and that bigger management hierarchy.
Exactly. And our goal here is pretty straightforward.
Hmm.
Turn that technical jargon, into something clear, something you can actually use. We want to show you how these pieces, they aren't just abstract ideas. They are literally the tools you need to control costs, make operations smoother, and frankly, avoid those cloud chaos nightmares we sometimes hear about. Getting this structure right is absolutely critical if you're doing, well, pretty much anything in Azure.
Okay, so let's start at the top level then. Azure subscriptions. Think of a subscription as your main container, really. It's
Yeah.
where your resources live, and it's tied directly to how you pay your billing. It's like also a key security boundary. A lot of places set up a development subscription separate from their production one.
Mm-hmm. And that's not just about splitting the bill, although it's part of it. It forces a kind of discipline, doesn't it? It ensures your dev team's experiments, they don't accidentally break your live application that's making money or serving customers.
Right, separates risk.
Precisely. And the real power here, I think, is how subscriptions tackle that problem of, let's call it, cost and access sprawl. We've all heard stories, right? Someone spins up a huge expensive service by mistake and bam, surprise bill. Subscriptions are your first, maybe your best, line of defense. Clear financial accountability, strong security boundaries.
Okay, that makes sense. So you've got these big subscription containers,
Hmm.
but then inside you could have hundreds of services, right? How do you organize that?
Yeah. That's where resource groups come in. They are logical containers, but within a subscription. The idea is to group things that belong together, things that share a life cycle, maybe, or just serve a common purpose.
So, like for a single web application, maybe it's virtual machines, the database, the storage, all bundled.
Exactly. You might call it, say, web app prod or something descriptive. All the bits for that production app grouped together.
And the benefit is?
Oh, it simplifies management hugely. You treat that group as one unit. Deploy together, monitor together, even delete the whole application stack easily. It really tackles that problem of disorganized resources, and crucially, it helps prevent orphaned resources. Those forgotten VMs or storage accounts just sitting there, running up costs.
Yeah, nobody wants those. Okay, so subs for boundaries, RGs for grouping inside. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, right? The big picture, the management hierarchy.
Yeah. This is where you layer it all together. You have management groups at the very top, then subscriptions underneath them, and then resource groups within the subscriptions. It creates this comprehensive structure for governance
Mm.
across potentially huge organizations.
So what's the common trap people fall into when they try to set this up, especially if they're starting out?
Good question. I think two extremes. Either they ignore it completely until it's a total mess,
Mm-hmm.
or they massively overcomplicate it right from the start for a small setup. This hierarchy, it's built for scale. It lets you apply rules, access controls, track costs consistently from the very top level down. Things like role-based access control, RBAC, use that constantly for fine-grained permissions.
Okay.
And tagging, like tag everything related to finance department. Now you can see their total cloud spend instantly. It's not siloed anymore. And Azure Policy lets you enforce rules maybe requiring resources only in certain regions for compliance. It's all about control and oversight, especially in larger companies.
Got it. So for someone maybe just starting or trying to clean things up, what are the quick wins, the best practices?
Definitely separate subscriptions for different environments. Dev, test, prod, keep them isolated. That's fundamental. Use really clear naming conventions for your resource groups. Something predictable like project environment region helps a ton. Group resources in an RG by their life cycle, like we said,
Mm.
and put things that talk to each other a lot in the same region if you can. Lower latency.
And you mentioned access control, RBAC.
Yeah, apply RBAC at higher levels in the hierarchy where possible, rather than micromanaging permissions on every single resource. Saves a lot of headaches. Oh, and use resource locks. Seriously. Prevents accidentally deleting that critical production database.
Good tip. Any limitations or things to watch out for?
Well, the main one is that a resource can only be in one resource group, so you need to plan a bit, especially for things that might be shared. And management groups, while super powerful, can sometimes add complexity if you're a really small team. You might not need that top layer initially. Keep it appropriate for your scale.
Right, don't over-engineer it.
Exactly. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, subscriptions set those crucial boundaries, cost and security. Resource groups bring logical order within those boundaries. And the whole management hierarchy gives you that scalable governance framework over everything.
So, what does this all mean? For us, it seems pretty clear. Getting your head around this structure isn't just nice to have, it's kind of your shortcut to actually being effective and, well informed when you're working in Azure.
Absolutely. It brings order from potential chaos. So the question for you listening is maybe, how could understanding this kind of structured approach, this way of organizing digital resources, how might that inspire you? Could you bring similar planning or organization to other parts of your digital life? Or maybe even your personal projects? Worth thinking about, isn't it? What clutter could you tame?